Two players, same heritage, different paths, and on Monday they meet on indoor clay in Stuttgart. And nothing about it feels ordinary. Alex has been on a run lately, the kind of run that makes people stop scrolling and actually pay attention. She walked into Linz, handled Julia Graber without breaking a sweat, then pushed Yelena Ostapenko, a genuine clay court weapon, to the absolute edge. 6 points. That's the margin that separated her from beating a Grand Slam champion on her best surface. 6 points. And instead of walking away deflated, she packed her bags and flew straight to Stuttgart for the Porsche Tennis Grand Prix. No pause, no reset, just forward. That alone tells you something about where her head is right now. And then, the draw came out and the tennis world did a double take, because the match the universe decided to give her in the first round isn't just a tennis match, it's something else entirely. Alex versus Leylah Fernandez. Philippines versus Canada. But really, when you strip it all the way back, Filipino blood on both sides of the net. Left hand versus left hand. Momentum versus legacy. A 20-year-old chasing her first WTA title against a 23-year-old who has already won 5 of them. And if that doesn't get your attention, I don't know what will. Let's talk about Leylah for a second, because if you're walking into this thinking, she's just another name in the draw, you're setting yourself up. She is not. 5 WTA titles, wins in Monterrey, Hong Kong, Washington, across multiple surfaces and multiple continents, and her ranking peak world number 13. That's not a player who got lucky once. That's a player who built something real over years of grinding at the top level. But the moment that defined her, the moment that made the whole world learn her name, was the 2021 US Open. She was 18 years old, 18. And she walked into Flushing Meadows and started knocking out elite players like it was a warm-up drill. Naomi Osaka, gone. Angelique Kerber, gone. Elina Svitolina, gone. Arina Sabalenka, gone. Back to back to back to back. She reached the final of a Grand Slam as a teenager, and she did it with this relentless, almost joyful aggression that the crowd absolutely fell in love with. Those fist pumps, those screams after big points, that fire in her eyes. She didn't just show up at the US Open, she took it over. That kind of experience doesn't disappear. It becomes part of who you are. Her father, Jorge, has coached her from the beginning, building her game around aggression, variation, and the ability to rise when the stakes are highest. Her forehand can change direction mid-swing. Her backhand creates angles that look geometrically impossible. She moves like someone who has studied every inch of a tennis court and memorized the most efficient path to every ball. She is, on her best day, one of the most difficult players on the entire tour to face. So here's the tension, because her best day hasn't shown up much in 2026. 4 wins, 9 losses coming into Stuttgart. Early exits in Brisbane, Adelaide, the Australian Open, Abu Dhabi, Doha, Dubai, Indian Wells, Miami. That's a long stretch of disappointment for a player with her ceiling. She's not injured, she's not done, she's just searching for the timing, the rhythm, the confidence that once made her nearly untouchable in those big moments. And that search is still ongoing. Which means right now, at this exact point in the season, Alex is walking into this match with something Leylah doesn't have. Momentum. Real, tangible, building by the week momentum. 15 wins in 2026. A semi-final in Auckland, quarterfinals. In Abu Dhabi and Dubai. Deep runs at Indian Wells and Miami. A career-high ranking of 29 in the world. And wins over players like Donna Vekic, Jasmine Paolini, and Diana Yastremska. These aren't soft victories. These are quality wins against quality opponents, and they've been stacking up. There's a version of a rising player who gets to a certain level and starts pressing, starts tightening up because they're so close to a breakthrough. Alex hasn't done that. If anything, she keeps getting looser, bolder, more assertive, like someone who finally feels at home on the biggest stages. And that's dangerous for everyone in her half of the draw. Now, here's where this match gets really fascinating on a technical level. Both of them are left-handed. In professional tennis, that's rare, roughly 1 in 10 players on tour. But when 2 lefties face each other, the match transforms into something different entirely. Every pattern they've spent years drilling against right-handers, neutralized. That wide slice serve on the ad side that drags opponents off the court, it now curves straight into the other player's forehand. That heavy cross-court ball they usually hit to a backhand, it lands on strength now, not weakness. The entire geometry of the court flips. So what happens? They have to rebuild their tactics from scratch, in real time, under pressure, in a stadium in Stuttgart. It stops being about muscle memory and becomes about problem solving. It's a chess match where both players are holding the same pieces, and the one who adapts faster usually wins. For Alex, that's actually an interesting test, because Leylah is in many ways a glimpse at what Alex could become in 2 or 3 years. Same lefty game, higher ceiling already realized, bigger titles already won. To beat her isn't just to win a match, it's to prove that the gap is closing faster than anyone expected. But there's a specific technical problem Alex has to solve before any of that matters. Her second serve. Against Ostapenko in Linz, her second serve win rate was 0%. That's not a small issue, that's a flashing warning sign. And against a returner like Leylah, who lives for exactly that kind of ball, who steps inside the baseline and attacks second serves the way most players attack sitters, that weakness becomes an invitation. More spin, better placement, stronger. Disguise, avoid the middle of the box at all costs. The Nadal Academy has had time to work on this. Even a modest improvement there shifts the entire dynamic of the match. Because if Alex can hold serve reliably, her return game, which has been winning over a third of return games this season, can do real damage. And the surface actually plays in her favor here. Indoor clay at the Porsche Arena is different from outdoor clay. No wind, controlled conditions, consistent bounce, slightly quicker pace. For a player with Alex's timing and aggressive baseline game, that kind of predictability is a gift. She had clay reps recently in Linz. Her reads are sharp, her footwork is dialed in. For Leylah, indoor clay is less certain. She comes in off the green clay of Charleston, different speed, different bounce, and her 2026 clay numbers are thin. 1 win, 1 loss. Enough to show she can compete, not enough to confirm she's found her rhythm on the surface. Then there's the layer that makes this whole thing feel almost cinematic. Leylah Fernandez is Filipino-Canadian. Her mother carries Filipino roots, the same cultural identity that has an entire nation rallying behind Alex every single time she steps on a court. So on Monday, both of these women will carry that heritage onto the same piece of clay. Same. Blood. Different flags, different journeys. One of them grew up in Manila and trained in Mallorca at the Rafa Nadal Academy, building her game brick by brick through one of the most demanding development systems in the sport. The other grew up in Canada, coached by her father from childhood, announced herself to the world as a teenager at the US Open, and became a symbol for a whole generation of players who refuse to be intimidated by the moment. When they walk out onto that court in Stuttgart, it won't just be a first-round match. It will be something the sport genuinely hasn't seen before. And if Alex gets through this, what's waiting isn't any easier. Jasmine Paolini is the second-round opponent, a top 5 seed, a French Open finalist, and one of the most complete players on clay in the world right now, except Alex has already beaten her this season in Dubai. Not barely, not squeaking through, she took her apart. So she already knows she can do it. That's not confidence built on hope, that's confidence built on proof. Beyond that, a potential quarterfinal against Elena Rybakina or Diana Schneider, both elite, both dangerous. And then, further down the draw, the possibility of Iga Swiatek, who is now working with Francis Roig, a coach deeply rooted in the same Nadal system that shaped Alex's entire development. That matchup, if it happens, would be a convergence of tennis philosophies that almost writes itself. But none of that matters until Monday is handled. That's the only thing that exists right now. One match, one surface. 2 lefties from the same cultural thread walking onto the same court with entirely different stories and entirely different forms. On paper, Leylah has the edge. Higher ranking, more titles, bigger moments already lived. The models lean her way, and it makes sense why they would. But paper doesn't feel pressure. Paper doesn't carry momentum. Paper doesn't know what it's like to nearly beat Jelena Ostapenko on clay, and then immediately show up at the Porsche Tennis Grand Prix like that loss only made you hungry for more. Alex is not coming to Stuttgart to participate. She is coming here to take something. And when she walks onto that court Monday, with everything she's built this season, with that hunger that is as visible as anything else in her game right now, with an entire country watching from across the world, the only question that really matters isn't about rankings or titles or records. It's simpler than that. It's this: which version of Leylah shows up, and can it stop a player who right now genuinely does not look like she plans on slowing down for anyone?